Hello YouTube and welcome to another repair. So here we have this Xbox controller. The model for this controller is it's model 1708. Right? This controller, somebody attempted a repair on this controller and it was a hell of a mess. So the first thing I did is zoom in right here. I had to fix the stick drift issue it had, and the pads, one of the pads was broken and it was drifting. It was drifting up on its own. For a second, the controller appeared to be fine, and then it just went up on its own. So when that was happening, I was pushing the R3 button, and it stopped drifting. I'm like, okay, something's wrong here. So I took it apart, and the pads for that this is like oh my god, the potentiometer or something like that, right? That sensor that goes in there. So this was the real problem of it. The sensor wasn't bad, it was just that it was kind of dirty, so I took them all out and cleaned them all out. But this was the main issue. I already checked for continuity, that I wasn't touching ground, nothing like that. The ground pad is there, which I might like solder some more around it, so in case it doesn't fail. After that got fixed, I burnt the plastic a little bit there, but that's not a big concern. The button still works. So then my other problem was in here. The IC that goes in here burnt out and magic smoke came out, which is the same IC that is right here. It's ACMH. So that same IC goes here and it got burned out. So what I ended up doing was I connected the controller, I took the IC out, and I started checking for voltages, which is the diagram I have here. That IC, from the right side, you're gonna get 3 volts on top, you're gonna get 1 volt on the second, third is ground, the fourth one doesn't have no connection. And then on the left side, you're gonna get 3 volts on top, you're gonna get no voltage on this line, you're gonna get 3 volts underneath, not underneath, but there's a line which is really, it comes from up here into the third leg to the left side. That broke off, and because the chip burned out, it like all of the pads, this controller is really, I don't know. So there's 3 volts right there coming from up here, and there's 3 volts coming from this cap up here, from these 2 filters, I think it is. I don't know what's that called. There's 1 volt coming from here, no connection, ground, and then the fourth leg on the left side is also ground. 3 volts, no voltage on this second pin, and 3 volts coming from up here. So what I did was I bridged the 3 volts coming from this side to this side, and I got the controller working. So this back together right quick.
It was a really tedious. It was really tedious to do this, but I got it done. It's taking me.
I first took a shot of it. It worked for a full day before that IC burnt out. So I'm like, can I bridge it? Because there's another IC going from those lines to the other side. So I didn't really find it was necessary. The controller's apparently working. Let's check it again. I have 5 volts coming from a cell phone charger. In case something went wrong, I don't want to screw my USB port. Let's get the rubber pads here. As soon as I bridge the 3 volts coming from the top to the second pin, the controller came back to life. So what is that IC doing there? I don't know. It doesn't matter, I think. And here we go. Every time it's like I'm doing, it's freaking ass, man. Alright, so let's make sure this is making good contact there. It's connected to Bluetooth. Nothing's wrong with it. Now let's go here and see. Oh shit. I almost had a bit of an accident there. Okay, so here we have online tester for this. And apparently everything seems to be working fine. The thumbstick, which had the stick drift problem, it would go on its own like this and just stay there, just like that, up, straight up. Now it's working. I might change the whole thing, but it seems to be working fine for now. So it's gonna be another tests to go on it, but that's what I did right here. I bridged, took the IC out and bridged the first 2 pins on the left side. If you got a controller that has a burnt IC, take it out. These pins don't matter at all. Take it out, bridge the first and second pin from the top down on the left side, and the controller comes back to life. Now I'm gonna put this back together and test it out. Something's not right.
I'll wait until the hot iron gets hot. Solder these in there. Positive on top, negative on the bottom. On these wires, positive is gray and red, typical. While it gets hot. Oh, bad idea. They don't stick in there for some reason. This is dumb. Why these don't want to stick? If it's there, it's for a reason. Don't remove it thinking it's not doing nothing. Not working without flux. Why? I gotta clean again. Why? This cable. A little bit, just for a small sizzle. You won't be able to see this side. dries up, but I don't like leaving no puddles. Hopefully that's all the solder I have to be doing. Let me double check. Let's shove this in the bottom case. Make sure your cables don't stick on the sides. That's a bad no-no. Let's just put the I gotta get a pair of new of these. Put cover loose just like that, just for testing purposes. I don't got no batteries yet, and I still have to check. It rumbled. Turn it on. It's already paired. There's a slight problem with this trigger. There's a slight problem with this trigger. And then I had the issue where I was pushing B button and it was triggering the R2 button for some reason. I probed around. I think it was left out a little bit of flux in there. I had to clean the whole board. Slight deviations on the axis. Nothing too bad. I guess we're good to go. So let's give it a go. Working great. No, I don't want to go there. Hold on. Forgot the buttons of this game. Every time I see X, I get confused with PlayStation. I push A instead of. The melee button. It's not going up on its own. L1, R1. Alright, I'm guessing a couple of days of testing. Make sure nothing else goes bad. And I guess that's another successful repair. Alright, here I got some examples of what to look for in these controllers. And let's zoom in. I have a few examples here. I got this. This was a PS4 controller I couldn't save. They replaced the joysticks, and I think it was overheated too much, and there's leftover residue of flux in there. There's a lot of resistors that got moved out of place. It's terrible. The controller never came back on. I couldn't get it to power on. No fix. I'm not gonna waste too much time on that. Stick drift issues. Let me zoom in. Here we go. So you're always gonna get those marks in there, right in the middle of the rings. This one's the one I took out from that PS5 controller. My camera wasn't focused for some reason. So when you see those marks in there, this is not good. On this one, you're gonna see the cover. When it's reached down all the way down into the cover, it's no good. This is another thing to look out for. When you check this part, the top part usually is never a problem. But the forks, that fork sometimes it breaks off, and then it leaves a deeper scratch than this on the joystick. No good. When that fork breaks and you don't see that small lump like that, you don't see that small lump in either side, this is done for. These are good, so I usually save them. Because there's times where either the fork breaks, but it doesn't damage the potentiometer, it doesn't damage it, and it's still savable. So you clean it with a Q-tip and isopropyl alcohol, you're good to go. You replace this, no stick drift. This is a new one. And these. This was from a PlayStation 3 controller. These black ones, they don't wear as much in there. They don't wear as much. Now the problem with the black ones is
they break the clips, and then it doesn't make good contact with the shell, and you get stick drift. Because either this could be like clamped from that side, and then it's basically like this inside of the controller, not all the way pushed in like that, how it should be. They break off the legs. It was one case of a PS3 controller I fixed that I've seen this. I don't know if the guy gripped real hard on the thumb pads or something like that, because it happens. You can stress out, you're getting all raged up because you're getting beaten, and I don't know. Then another thing I want to explain right here. I think on the left side, this one's the one that goes on the left side, right? Those scuffs in there, you could even see it on the top a little, so that's like up and down wear and tear, I believe. Yep. But I've noticed that every time you push the L3 button, this has a slight movement in there. You see that? And that could cause that same wear and tear in there by pushing the L3 or R3. I think that's what's happening. I'm not sure, but it's a theory of mine. And the less you use your L3 and R3 buttons, which is not an option, because most of the games you gotta use that nowadays, it's impossible not to like. And then here's another issue. Pushing L3 or R3. This breaks off of the pad, and sometimes this goes right here, then it goes inside of the joystick. It goes inside of the joystick. Let me see if I can put this. Okay, right there. It goes like that. Then this goes like this. Right. It goes like this. Holding on to those little rockers in there. When this breaks off, sometimes this slips out of place and it gets jammed there. In between the button and the in between the button and the base, and that's when this happens. Which one is it? I think it's this one. That's when that happens. Or either case to the side like that, and it's not broken. This one, it's like this is another thing that gets damaged. So if you're having troubles, if you're having problems left and right, it's because this band broke. That also breaks in there, and then there's no choice but to change the whole thing. I have this one's a brand new one because I used the sensors, but I kept the part because you never know when these breaks as well. If there's no need to change this because it's working well, you don't have to. You just like split it to the side, and you just unweld it, take just the part out, get a new one, shove it in, boom, just like I did. Right? That's most common things I've seen with this potentiometers. I got a bunch more that I've changed around. I save them for spares because you never know. I don't know if those are. That's no good. One of them is burnt out and whatnot. I gotta start separating. I got so much stuff. I gotta start separating the bad from the good. But that's the most common things you find on these. Either the clips break, the legs break, or the conductive surface wears off.